Good morning. Here is it about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it have been a very interesting beginning of 2023, and this is only January 11, so 11 days in the new year 2023 here in Sweden, the calendar that we follow. And so I have started very interesting because I was talking about this with when I was staying in a hospital, and then it come a man from this church, and I was wondering, it have never come a person to me when I have been in a hospital, more than for 10 years ago, like that. I had a friend that was a hospital pastor, but she was only one time and visit me, but maybe saved my life by giving me some fruit to eat when I didn't get any food to eat at the hospital. And so I was wondering, how does it come that he is here visit me, that they say he was a coordinator for the hospital, and then I was looking at, I got the notes they have made in the hospital, and we have that in Sweden, that we can go in on the internet and read what they have talking about when you have been to inside the hospital laying there. So I did, and I be surprised but very, very angry at that moment, because what they have done when I was in an emergency room. And these belong to the start of this year, because I was, when I was in Jerusalem, opened my eyes and my ears to know what's going on. I talk about the Disneyland, and you can be angry at me and think I'm so wrong when you have not been there for some years, or never have been to Jerusalem. They lie for us in Jerusalem. They want you to come as a tourist and spend money. And they were on their way to dig down in the soil and in the caves, and to start up a new guided tours for tourists to spend money on. And I have talking about this, that I find it out the first time I was in Jerusalem, that they don't know so much where things were. They only assume they are in those places. It was when when I was at the Villa de la Rosa, and a woman asked the guide, was it here Jesus was walking? And she touched the street. And the guide say, Villa de Rosa is a very long street, so we don't know where exactly Jesus was walking. And then I understood that was God talking to me, that they lie. They want you to believe that here on this street, just here, did Jesus walk. And people go down with their hands, or maybe take a little dust from the street and say, this dust have Jesus walked on, or maybe have walked on, and like that, and then spend much money in Jerusalem and on these cheap things you can buy from the Morocco men selling crabs, and then it was like this, that after I come home from Jerusalem, I was talking to my daughter, and she is a Jesus lover, so I'd be surprised that she told me the truth. And she said that it's that cave, those stones that is you're walking on in Jerusalem is not from Jesus' time. It is. It was. I have said that in an episode. That was a. I think her name was Sophia. She spent money on laying all those stones that we walk on in Jerusalem about year 600 after Jesus had been born. So Jesus had never walked on those stones. I'm sorry to tell you that, you that had believed that you have walking where Jesus was walking. You have been walking in that area. That's true. But not on those rocks. And not on that dust that you hold in a bag or something like that. So I have never spent any money on those things more than the first time when I was with a nice man to Bethlehem and was buying some things that I thought should be my church. But that what I bought there is gone. And many of this with Jesus things is gone also, as I have going away from Jesus. Not really going away from Jesus, that he didn't exist. It's not about that. But he's not where I stop at, because that he had more to tell his disciple, but he said that had been too much for them to get that knowledge. They have not believed. And then, if you give too much knowledge to people and they are not prepared to receive that knowledge, that can make them walk away, and it can also make them disbelieve in what you have told them from the beginning. So it can erase everything. So Jesus didn't want to tell them everything. But now, as a prophet, I am telling you everything, what I hear from Jesus and from God and from those people that is in my family tree in heaven. And I have told you so many times that on my mother's side is going down to the beginning of life. I can trace because they were royals down into Israel when Jesus lived. And Jesus is in my family tree. So it's not someone that I take away because he belonged to me. It's not about that. It's about what they are saying that is not truth. And I want to speak the truth. And I hope I have speaking the truth. And it can happen that a spirit is coming to me. And I have deleted some recordings because it had come in a spirit that is a child. And they can play with me. So what I'm saying is wrong because they are saying this. But then I find out this is children that they are playing, and those children they don't know so much of what's going on, but they want to be like brag that they know so much. So I have to be careful with that, and now I need to get some knowledge that I don't have from them in heaven. And it's already a spirit here that touched me. It's I think it's going to be a very strong spirit that is coming through. But I'm going to talk about this with the hospital. I read the notes they have done about me, and to my shock and anger, the doctor there that took care of me, he have found in 2009 a note from a doctor that say that I was mental sick and believe that I see things and being in something that we got to do. He have note that 2009. It's now 14 years ago, and the doctor that at the hospital now, he wrote that have been noted, but she have not going forward with the mental illness she have in all these years. If I had him, this doctor that I met yesterday, if I had him here now, I could tell him why I have not got going forward, and no one have going forward with this mental sickness. It's because that doctor, he was from Denmark, and he had found a a hole, a leak in the system, in the Swedish health system. So he write himself in as a doctor. So I started to talk about them, about what he have say about me, that I was mental sick, and they look at him and they say, a doctor, an ordinary doctor can't say that you're mental sick. You have to go to a doctor that is specialist for mental sickness. They say that to me, and then I was hoping that I left this behind me, because they find out that he was not a doctor. He was a fake doctor. So they kick him out from Sweden doing these bad things. And we have this today. There is many doctors that have no work, but they can be hired of a hospital to be a doctor. And that was the system he used. And no one look at his paper. So why should I go forward with that? Why should any doctor go forward with that? Because they know his name. They knew he was a fake doctor. So, and now, this doctor, the young doctor, he is younger than my son and my daughter also. And he have written down that I could be mental sick. So I didn't get the treatment that I should have in an emergency room there. And then I am thinking that this man coordinator from the church, I am very sure that he have read the note about this with 2009. And because it was written there, it says that yesterday, that 2019, was I mental sick. That's as doctor have say. But they did, as it was a long time ago, they didn't know this doctor is a false. It was a false doctor. And this, oh yeah, I don't know how they discussed the whole thing, but it's God and heaven reveal in the beginning of 2023 about Jerusalem, that it had become a Disneyland, money-hungry place, and no one care about disabled people, because I come there as a disabled and test it, and there is no help there. You should go with taxi all the time, pay for that, very much money. And so it started Jerusalem because I was there till January 3, 2023. I went back to Sweden in 2023. So that was the first thing God revealed. And now God revealed that it's still going on. My diagnosis and treatment is based on this 2009 fake doctor that have written wrong things about me. Yeah, it's the devil. Of course, it is the devil that have used a doctor for to do this. Uh, so I have sent a complaining, and it's very much procedure for it. First, I took the first place I write them about this, and have to wait for them to take contact with me. And then is it if I don't get help there to erase these wrong written things, I have one more instances, a place to go to. And the last thing I am going to do is go into the police. I am going to be very sure that this will be erased. And I feel I don't like that this coordinator for the church believe in this wrong written things, and he come, and it make more sense now that he come to me, and he was treating me like I didn't know what he was doing, because I didn't know that he could have read this wrong thing. And then he took on me with his hands and hold it for a long time, both hands. I think it was like an healing, that he should take away my mental issues. So that make me understand that there was not that church I should go to. But I'm going to go there once, to have been there to see what it is. But it is not any help. But the help is that I understand that I need to do something to take away that note for 14 years ago, that someone have written about me that was not the doctor. I have to do something with it, and I have it's touching, because I'm going to say that I have heaven with me, around me. So we will take it and help. I get help from heaven with this, even if it maybe take a little while. And then I'm thinking that note for 14 years ago, it have maybe caused the problem that the doctor in Jerusalem called the hospital here in Sweden, and they told him that I was mental sick. So he didn't want to help me. So this note can have caused and cause big problems for me to stay alive. But I stay alive because of God, and heaven wants me to stay alive. But and then I heard someone told me that in Utah, in United States, there is the doctors there can help me with my problems with my body. And there where I have been, and I have lived 1 month with a doctor for the general hospital. So there is some help it can be in Utah, but this is a very long traveling. I have done that once, and it was before I was disabled, and it was very hard to go there from Sweden and go over Canada, and I will not go over Canada again. But as God say, it can be in that way that a doctor is coming and visit me, and then he go to the hospital here in Sweden and tell them to help me. That can be the solution, because I am too disabled and sick in my body to could travel so far away again. Jerusalem was the last far away country that I can travel on my own. If I should travel so far, I need to have someone with me that helped me the whole time. But I don't have anyone, and I don't have that money to pay one to fly with me. And so it was this, it have already been 2 things in 11 days that have with God to do, and the judgment that is on people, because 2023, that heaven have someone else touched me. Do you want to talk about it? But I tell you that from heaven they have said that 2023 will be the peak of everything bad things happen. And I understand it now. When I have already got 2 bad things in 11 days about this with the spirit things. So I want to tell you that it's you know, God can be late, but he is never too late. So if you know that you have done wrong things, you have to turn around it immediately. This is emergency for the spirit inside you. You have to do the right things now. You have to stay clean. When God is sending these angels that going to sweep away evil things on earth. And you that have followed me, you know that there come. I say to you, it's maybe 1.5 years ago, I say it look like seagulls. And I have never seen so much seagulls in my whole life that was flying in the sky. And I knew that in that moment that they look like seagulls, but that was the angels from heaven that come down. And they come down to this, my home here. And from that, from my home, they are going to locate those people that have been evil to me and sweep them away. So if you know that you have not been nice to me, talking about me without knowing me and my work for God and heaven. If you had talked about against me behind my back and showing people that I am wrong in my head, that I am like crazy like that. And it's very strange for me. And I think it's very strange for you, that is my followers, that I have been traveling in so many places. How could I travel and get money to travel if I was mental sick? No, it was about $10,000 did I get to travel to Jerusalem. And that was from God. Even if it was a person that sent me money, was it that person heard God talking and sent the money? So that God had not sent any money if I was mental sick and wrong. So it amazed me that people can't think in another way than only thinking negative about me, and then someone tell them negative about me, and then they believe that and never question me. They have never talked to me. They have not asked me about things, about my life, my 22 years life. They have never asked me. I don't know how much they know me, but what they know about me is what they get from negative people. And I don't know so many people that have been this way, but God and heaven knows it. They have been with me, and they have those notebooks, the black book and the white book, and there is mostly in the black book the book of death than the book of life. I don't know how many it can be in the book of life, but it's not me to know it. But there is 2 books in heaven. So I will see if someone wants to talk about this from heaven. There is someone here of these white angels, that this with a long dress, white, and she should have wings on, but I don't see the wings. But she is not on the floor. She is in the air here. And she say that to me, we know who they are. She's saying this about you that have been bad to my mission to get people going on the right side. You have trashed my work, and especially God and heaven's work for people here on earth. And it have been very close to extremely close to stop this planet, to make this planet be black and avoid it again. But some of you supported me to come to Jerusalem, and you did. The Spirit is talking to you now. You did a bigger work than you ever can understand. But we will tell you. One day we're standing face to face and we will tell you. We are going to be a big group of people here in heaven, spirits, people in heaven. We're going to thank you for what you did to save your planet. We were ready to shout it down. We thought it should not be any person that care about the planet's future. We have milliards of planets to choose. So for us, it's have been sad, but we could do that to stop this planet to be a planet, to let the evil take care of itself and kill everyone that tried to be nice. And we take another planet and start up there. There is many planets in the solar system that we could have taken and make the light coming down there. So she held out her hands now in the air and do like a circle over your head. You that send money for me to could reach to Jerusalem. You did something that you can never understand how important it was for the whole planet, for your children and grandchildren, and for everyone, for the whole universe, maybe. It's I'm going to go down here and end this episode, even if there is more I should say. But the spirit that come here, you hear it on me. She drained me very much when she make me to talk for her in my mouth. So it's time for me to end this, and I thank you for listening. There is real people out there. There is not a hope, because the hope is gone, because we don't need that hope, because you exist. So thank you. The hope is for something that we don't know if it will come or not. But you make it happen. And I make it happen also. Even if I couldn't do it, I did it. So this planet will exist. Thank you, and God bless you, everyone that is for the light, everyone that try their best to stay in the light. Thank you, I love you.